Trading without a plan just means you're going to lose money in the market, guys, and a lot of you are doing that over and over every day. In this video, I'm going to show you what it means to have a plan and to have setups at a high level. I talk about both because there's a plan for the market and then there are your actual trading setups. So let's actually do some pre-market analysis. It is actually Monday right now. By the time this video comes out, this will be over, but it's a little past 9 a.m. I'm going to do some high-level analysis, come up with my thesis for the day, which I kind of already have, and then also talk about some of the trades that I'll be looking for today, given my current holdings. For those of you that are new here, my name is Forrest. I've been trading for a long time. Very recently with Apex Trader Funding. I know I've been talking about that a lot, but I actually got my start years and years ago. I was one of the people who made a crap ton of money from the whole GameStop thing, and that basically fueled my trading fanaticism. I made around $500,000 from that, and then I had a bunch of other six-figure trades. Go look through my old videos. They're not as high quality as these ones, but there's proof in whatever you're looking for there. Point is, been doing this for just a little bit, and it is my passion to help people. So enough of that, let's go ahead and jump in. It's currently 9:08 a.m. Cool, so one of the positions I shared on my Twitter is that I'm short a November 15th, 4,200 put, swing put. Here it is, up about 100%, I'm up about 100% right now. So that's one of the positions that I'm holding this morning and that I really want to account for in my plan, right? I basically need to think coming to the market today, okay, do I take profits? Do I sell this thing soon or not? So let's actually start with daily chart as we always should when we're doing our pre-market analysis. Now I actually have a few different layouts. This one's called all time frames. I have one just for the daily that is marked up differently. So let's pull that one up as well and take a look at the daily chart. Now, again, the point of this video is to have a plan for the day. You need, which is essentially a macro thesis. And then from your macro thesis, you can start to look at the smaller price action. In this market though, guys, I'm telling you, in a high VIX, fast moving environment, your macro thesis is going to inform your day trades extremely heavily, like way more heavily than it was previously, right? Where we used to see maybe a move would take 2 days or so to play out. In this market, it's happening in a day. You really should be planning your day trades here on the daily chart. So I have ES, N, and Q. I trade both ES, N, and Q. You see them here. There's a few things on my chart. You see that I have levels here, right, on my ES chart. I have a fixed range, I actually have an anchored volume profile, sorry, and I have a visible range volume profile. If you're not familiar with what the volume profile is a way to measure volume at a price. So how many lots transferred at 41.7750, which we can see marked up on the chart here. I have this orange line at 41.7750 as a low value node. Why? Because there is not a lot of value here compared to this 42.39 level right here, right? So there was more transactions at these prices because I'm very big on analyzing the volume profile as a trader, and it is the primary way that I actually come up with my trade hypotheses. I'm going to pay attention to it first. So what do I think is going to happen on the macro? We came down on higher volume. Let's just go ahead and expand this. Came down on higher volume, right? Got some continuation red. So we came down here, higher volume, continuation red. The next low value area is down here at 41.80. We've been talking about this, at least in our Discord, for a while. I know a bunch of other people on Twitter were going long up here, which is not the smartest play that I've ever seen. But what I'm looking for is either a consolidation here at this area and for this not to double bottom, right? So we've already swept this overnight, right? We're about to open now. The market's been open since 6 p.m. yesterday on Sunday. We've already swept this liquidity area here. So we did a low sweep of this. We noticed that the last time there was a major pivot, we did a higher low bounce up here. We did a higher low bounce. We did not do a higher low bounce here. We did a higher low bounce here. We actually swept this. We swept this liquidity. So we could do a retracement, right? Some type of like 50 fib. Let's measure the 50 from here, which would be, that's a little too high, 43.22 area. That puts us almost back to 43.40, which would be possible for a bounce. I could actually see that, 43.40 bounce. But what I actually want is for us to chop. I want us to chop today. So how do I decide how much we're gonna chop? Well, I gotta look at some of the chop candles in the past to figure out the size of a chop candle, right? So we can see we have some pretty good chop candles here, these small dojis. There's a bunch of chop here, right? This is probably the best chop period that we have an example of, right? Kind of ranged here a little bit and then it is chopped, especially in here, terrible chop. And we see that the size of this chop area is about 61 points, right? With the smallest days looking about 34 points, right? So I want a really tight consolidation day, low volume for continuation. That's what I want on the macro. If I don't get that, if we start to get volume and a rejection of these lows here, and it looks like this is going to do some type of double bottom or just a low sweep bottom rejection, then my secondary thesis, or really I should say my thesis for upside, is coming up into this low value area here, 43.45, with a possible action all the way back up to retest this area. But if we get back up here, we're going to sweep it, quite honestly. So there, and then on the downside, okay, I'm looking for 41.80. 41.80, if we get down to 41.80, we could get down to 41.56 as well, retest this low. But then I'm looking for some type of bounce in this low volume area, which is why I have a line here at 41.77. So having a thesis, you don't have to have just one direction. I think one of the biggest mistakes, and I talk about it all the time, is people get biased. They're like, oh, it has to go up. They put it out on Twitter, they put it everywhere, and they hold themselves to it, and they won't do anything else, and they lose money publicly. And it's the dumbest thing I see all the time. If you're wrong, just switch your thesis, right? Or have multiple theses. If we go down, we should go here. This should be the downside target if we go down. If we go up, we should go here. It's really that simple, right? Everything I was saying was like the why it happens, which helps with the narrative, and it does matter. The why does matter, right? Especially with the price action and volume on the candles, how many dojis and things like that with timing, especially playing options, that matters. But you should always have a directional thesis for both ways, because the market is an auction, right? Just like any auction, players can always participate at any time. Because players can participate at any time, timing is the hardest part of the market, right? So you always have to account for timing and the possibility that you might be right, but you might just need to wait or something like that, right? So don't get so caught up on it needing to go a certain direction at a certain time. Just play the game, play the market like you play poker, play highest odds. So that's what I'm thinking on the higher time frame. So let's talk about what I might want to do on a chop day. If I'm expecting a low volume chop day, what are some of the things that I might look for? So let's look for a shorter time frame. And let's go to where there's a little bit of chop. Let's actually go to Wednesday, October 11th on a shorter time frame. Let's go to Wednesday, October 11th on the 5 minute. So this is the 5 minute chart, the little go-to button, Wednesday, October 11th. Boom. And if you're saying, Forrest, why this day? Well, it was a chop day, right? It was a chop day, and I want to see what type of opportunity there was in the market on a chop day. It doesn't mean it's going to look just like this or like this at all, but this is the best we've got. You just have to look at the market in a similar environment, right? This is still a high VIX environment, and what happened. So we had this very, very kind of crappy price action. We can see here, we had a channel that formed kind of in here. We can see that there is some shape to this, which is nice to see. There's some structure. Cool. There was this increase in volume here at 9:30, the open, and it looks like there was something at 8:30 here. This may have been some data here or something. There's quite a bit of volume there at 8:30. We came down and then we pivoted right here at 43.77. So this is really what I'm looking for, right here, and then this rocket. That's the cleanest trade. There was also this right here, right? There's a few trades in here, but I'm looking for these trades at the extremes. What I don't want to do, not really, is have a thesis, have a trade plan that is trying to catch this. So what's my plan going to be? My plan is going to be try to catch, and let's see what this actually is down here. This was, probably need to put on more session volume profiles. So we bounced off of a previous day value area down here. So I'm going to look for, in my plan, I'm going to look for a extension into a previous session value area. That's my thesis. That is a thesis, something to look out for. We grind into a previous session value area, and we take a trade off of that. Now, that's a good trade on any day, honestly, but especially with the grind where it looks like it's just, you know, straight up downtrend. We actually caught that reversal on the previous session value area. One of the things that I look for as well is a 5 minute. So I have here some trade setups written up here on my iPad. I'll show them to you guys, right? Wrote those out just as ideas for this video. These are actual trades that I use, right? They're not just BS that I made up for the video. Very, very simple. But one is the 5 minute switch up. And lo and behold, I knew there would be one because there always is one. Whatever, you guys don't have to believe me, but here it is. Look at the volume here on the chart, guys, on the 5 minute, right? So we have this red, we have this big follow on red, right? The next big change in volume with structure is here. So we have this green, big green candle right here. So it's a little bit of a delayed reaction too. So we had this candle, this flattening here, right? Up, a little doji on low volume, and then we had a high volume push with a top wick, which is a little bit scary, right? But in this market, we've been retesting top wicks quite a bit. We also had a second top wick on low volume, right? You would expect another high volume smash if this thing wanted to come down. So this was a test upwards, little test upwards, got retested, and then it broke through, right? It broke through this channel. Once you break this channel, you go ahead and could take a buy, right? So you could take a buy really once you see this candle. Once I saw this candle, I would have been thinking, I probably want to long here. Once we break this channel, right, you could long, and I mean, until the end of the day, that's 32 points, right? There's a ton of opportunity there. Pretty simple change. So the 5-minute switch up this is actually what I have written down, guys. Let me read it out for you. During a period of consolidation, there's a very clear change of volume on the 5-minute chart, signaling a breakout is about to occur, right? There's a few conditions here for this trade setup, right? It has to be a period of consolidation. Periods of consolidation, for those of you who are still learning the markets, that's that time where you're so antsy, it feels like the market's moving so slow, there's nothing happening, you're about to give up on the day, maybe you've already given up on the day, and maybe you've had it happen to where like you get up, but then the market moves. That is the period of consolidation I'm talking about. You see a change of volume on the 5-minute, signaling something's about to happen. And I've chosen the 5-minute in particular, just based off of me back testing with my own trades what the best time frames are. 3-minute, there can be spikes in volume that are not meaningful on that time frame. It needs to be the 5. I primarily trade off the 15-minute chart. So in heavy periods of consolidation, the 15-minute chart is basically useless. So I need a closer look at the market that's going to signal some type of change in the structure on the higher time frame without getting too small, right? I don't want to look at the 1 minute because the 1 minute's going to look crazy. Cool. So that is one of my setups. A few of the other ones are overnight high-low sweeps, a return to VWAP POC from the morning price, and a VWAP plus band rejection on ES plus NQ. So let's talk about the last one here. So basically what the last one is, let's open up my other chart, which is just named randomly. So this is a fun one. This is a chart a template that I've been using quite a bit recently. And basically what this setup is, and I'll say it one more time, is VWAP plus band rejection on ES plus NQ. So basically what I'm looking for is when there's a divergence between ES, which is not what we have, when we have ES and NQ, I'm expecting it to test a VWAP standard deviation band at the same time that it tests a VAL or POC or something else on the other, right? Or inverse. So I wrote the rule down kind of just as a reminder, but the idea is that these things diverge. NQ tends to be the tail and ES is the dog, right? So wherever ES wags, NQ kind of goes a little bit further, but they tend to reject at the same time. So very often we'll see that this will come into the POC at the same time that this is coming into this band, and they'll reject at the same time. I've seen this so many times that I'm always like, wait, it looks like a breakout because it looks like NQ's flying, but it's not. It's not a breakout. Never is, right? Market's never breaking up, right? Except for the few times it does. But again, play it like poker, guys. So that's that other setup. I might do some videos on other setups, but to be honest, guys, I can barely talk. I was super sick over the weekend and I wanted to get this video out to give some value to you guys coming into this week, and also because I don't want to be super behind on my YouTube videos. But that's about all I can say. I'm about to lose my voice. I hope this was slightly helpful in helping you understand how to analyze the market and have some plan. Trade setups, by the way, I guess the last thing that I'll say, need to account for your macro plan, right? So if your macro plan was, I think we're going to go down 100 points today, and you go 6 longs and 2 shorts, there's something wrong with you mentally in your psychology that you need to figure out and solve for. And that's something that I see a lot. Some people are always ever trying to catch reversals, and they try to argue to themselves that that's a good strategy, but it's not. It's fundamentally bad, right? If 90% of the opportunity in the market is on the downside and you're trying to catch the 10%, odds are so stacked against you, right? And you don't have the evidence that you're an exceptional trader, so why are you trying to do that, right? You have to get rid of this idea that you can do this crazy thing and just go for the easy stuff, guys. Go for the easy stuff. It'll make you so much better. Let go of the ego, let go of the bias, let go of your need to be right, improve yourself, and whoever you told something about that, you need to be right. I'm kind of just going on a whole tangent now, but it's by far the most important thing. People just defend their thesis all day long. It does not matter. The only thing that matters is, did you make or lose money? In any case, my name's Forrest. I'm Best of Stuff. You should too. See you in the next video. Peace.